This is TechCrunch. Productivity software maker Atlassian has agreed to acquire the browser company, which makes the Arc and Dia browsers for $610 million in cash. Mike Cannon-Brookes, Atlassian's CEO and co-founder, said, "Today's browsers weren't built for work. They were built for browsing. This deal is a bold step forward in reimagining the browser for knowledge work in the AI era." The browser company's CEO, Josh Miller, said in a social media post that his company will operate independently under Atlassian and will continue to develop Dia, the browser it started working on last year after deciding to stop development of its previous browser, Arc. Miller said that the deal would allow the browser company to hire and ship features faster and support multiple platforms. The deal is expected to close in the second quarter of Atlassian's fiscal year 2026. The browser company most recently raised $50 million at a $550 million valuation last year. The startup has so far raised $128 million in total across multiple rounds. The announcement comes a day after a U.S. District Court spared Google from being forced to sell its browser, Chrome. Francesco Cacciatore is a self-proclaimed skeptic. Yet, after spending 2 decades in the European aerospace industry and hitting, as he put it, a crisis, he made an undeniably optimistic bet. He started a space company, saying, "I wanted to try and build something myself." Well, that something turned out to be one of the most challenging problems in aerospace: re-entry. Along with his co-founder, Victor Gomez Garcia, Cacciatore founded Orbital Paradigm, a Madrid-based startup building a re-entry capsule to unlock new markets for materials created in zero gravity. In less than 2 years, with a team of 9 and less than €1 million, the company built a test capsule dubbed KID, a precursor to a future reusable space capsule called Kestrel. KID is deliberately minimal. It weighs around 25 kilos and is roughly 16 inches across, with no propulsion. It will mark the first time the startup puts hardware on orbit. The company has raised €1.5 million in seed funding. Orbital Paradigm did not initially set out to develop return capsules. The co-founders first envisioned in-space robotics, but prospective customers repeatedly said what they really wanted was a capability to go to orbit, stay a little while, and then come back. Repeatedly. Customers don't want to do a one-off, Cacciatore said. Institutions, startups, and companies frequently want to fly between 3 and 6 times a year. Biotech companies represent a potentially lucrative market because microgravity can enable new materials, drugs, and therapies, and these applications often require repeat tests by design. That's why Orbital Paradigm chose to build a smaller capsule rather than something like SpaceX's Dragon, which flies astronauts and cargo to the International Space Station. Cacciatore said, "If you want to fly hundreds of kilos or thousands of kilos, then, well, your customer is not the payload anymore. It is the destination to which you fly." The market for orbital return is growing more crowded on both sides of the Atlantic. Varda Space Industries became the first company to nail a commercial re-entry last year, while Europe's The Exploration Company achieved a controlled re-entry with its own test vehicle this summer. American startups like Varda and Inversion Space benefit from a few unique tailwinds. Notably, the Department of Defense and other agencies have poured millions into hypersonic testing and delivery demos, often in the form of non-dilutive funding like grants or contracts that don't require giving up company ownership. The first launch is rapidly approaching. Orbital Paradigm will fly its maiden mission in roughly 3 months with an unnamed launch provider carrying 3 customer payloads. KID will not be recovered. Instead, the goal is to separate from the rocket, transmit data from orbit, survive the intense heat and speeds of hypersonic reentry, and ping home at least once before the capsule impacts in an undisclosed area. The second mission next year will feature a scaled-down Kestrel with a propulsion system and a parachute to guide the capsule to the Azores, where Portugal's space agency is developing a spaceport. Like the first mission, there will be no orbital phase. It will just launch, spend about 30 minutes in microgravity before returning. But in this case, Orbital Paradigm will be able to recover the vehicle and the payloads inside. Cacciatore was proud of what the team has accomplished so far, but he was clear-eyed about the long road ahead. Until we fly, we haven't done much. Words are nice, but flying is the ultimate test. That's it from TechCrunch. For more crunchable tech stories like these, go to TechCrunch.com.